Hey guys, so it is Friday night. If you don't know me, my name is Abigail, and I make videos about health issues and special needs. And I recently got a feeding tube a few days ago, actually on Wednesday, and things have been rather interesting. So, like I said, today is Friday. I got discharged today from the hospital, which was nice because the hospital I was at was like a couple of hours away. So it was nice to come home to my own bed. Obviously with hospitals there's like constant beeping from machines, and it was just, I needed help with like every single little thing because I had I was hooked up to a lot of different things being in the hospital, and so it was just a lot. Well, basically, we went through this whole thing with insurance about like what type of formula and stuff they're going to cover for me to have at home. I was supposed to go home actually on Thursday, yesterday. My surgeon approved that I was well enough to go home. But insurance still wasn't like processed enough to cover my feedings, and so stayed an extra night because the surgeon said that if it's not approved, then if you're staying in the hospital, they have to basically pay for you to stay at the hospital because they're not releasing you to come home with no feeds, basically. And so I'm making a video. I'm making a YouTube video about what's going on. So anyways, that's why I had to stay a few days in the hospital. First was to heal, but also, like I said, my surgeon was like, could technically go home on Thursday, but the insurance people were being very slow about covering everything. So anyways, the surgeon released me today, and it was great to be able to come home to my own bed because hospital beds are so uncomfortable, but even more when you just had like a major stomach surgery. I actually end up getting both tubes, not just one. I got the G tube and the J tube. Basically, if you don't know why, it was from a birth defect I was born with, where a lot of my insides were in the wrong spot, and basically for, I think it was about a year or so, started having health issues. I've had different health issues different years, but the specific health issues, some of my insides had moved, and I have gastroparesis, which is where my stomach is partially paralyzed, and it was at the point where any like solid food I would eat, it would come back up. There was a few things that I could eat, like ice cream and stuff, that would stay down, but there wasn't enough stuff that was staying down where I could maintain weight. I was losing a lot. I don't remember how much I lost, but it was like kind of a scary number. So the surgeon was like, yeah, you need to get a feeding tube. At first, he said that if he could only get one in, it was going to be the J. He was going to try to get 2, which thankfully he got 2 in. So I got the G and the J. And earlier today, I flushed it for the first time by myself. I had gotten a coffee earlier today, and it started making me feel sick to my stomach. And so basically with the feeding tube, what I can do is, instead of actually getting sick, I open one of my tubes and it comes out that way through my tube instead of me actually getting sick, and then I just flush it with water. That way I don't have to get sick, and I'm not like losing a whole lot of weight and stuff that way. So another thing is about the whole insurance situation. I think it's going to be like a couple days before they can come by, because it was this whole thing. They were going to go through this certain company, and then the company that they were going to go through doesn't approve the kind of insurance I have. It was this whole big thing. So I think they're supposed to come in a few days. I don't remember what day they said. And they're going to drop off my formula, my pump, and then the syringe that I need to like flush the tube. In the hospital, we did get a syringe to flush with, because if I needed, the nurse at the hospital said it needs to be flushed at least once a day. But if I do have something like coffee that I can have and it ends up making me feel bad, then I gotta flush it out of the tube. So we do got a syringe for that. And I actually flushed my tube for the first time today, so I was very proud that I was able to do it myself. I got a lot of cards from people, a lot of gifts. I can maybe do a video on that sometime after I'm doing better of what all I got, but I got a lot of good stuff. My pastor and his wife stopped by the other day to give me a gift, and so yeah, I am sore and tired, but other than that, good. Okay, so sorry things got kind of crazy, but anyways, what I was saying was I had coffee earlier, it made me feel sick, so I undid one of my tubes, let it come out the tube, and then I flushed it with water. If you're new to feeding tubes and you don't know what flushing is, it's basically you run water through the tube with a syringe to clean it out. Because you don't want like stuff in the tube, because if it stays in the tube it can clog it. So I, with help trying to figure it out, I flushed the tube for the first time by myself. So basically what this does is, there's one tube that like my formula goes in, and that's like the one that like feeds me. And then there's another tube here, the G tube. It's basically where I can vent. So like if I drink something and it makes me feel bad, I can open the tube and basically make it go into the sink instead of actually getting sick. So yeah. So yeah, I'm very thankful to be home. I'm very sore, very tired. But I've had a lot of support. If y'all want to see my tubes, maybe not look for a minute if this bothers you. I have a huge gash on my stomach from you're not gonna be able to see all my like incision sites, because I have this like brace type thing on that's supposed to hold everything together. They said to leave this on for like a week to help everything kind of settle. So this right here is my feeding tubes. So this one's the gastric. If y'all can see that. Don't want to flip too high. This one's the gastric. I think that's the one my formula goes through. And then I have one that says Mick on it. Right here. Mick, or no. Yeah, it says Mick, but that it's kind of, it says Wick for y'all, but it says Mick for me because it's backwards on the camera. But basically, the first tube, and this is easier to see, the first tube that has like this milk consistency stuff in it, that's where the formula goes. This other one is just used for the drain. So like, basically, like I said earlier, if I have something and it upsets my stomach and makes me feel sick, I just go to the sink and I open this tube and just let it out in the sink. So that's good. So anyways, things have been kind of crazy, but I'm really thankful that this worked out, and that I'm honestly thankful that I woke up from the surgery. Like, I know that's like absolutely horrible to like think that you might not, but with the severe birth defect I have and the really big health issues that I have, it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever been through as far as surgery goes. And I remember when I woke up, I put my hand like down here and I felt that I had at least one tube, and I was just like so relieved to know that not only did I wake up, but I had at least one tube. Like I showed y'all, I actually have two. One for formula, one to vent, but so yeah, I am so thankful to be home. This video isn't going to be very long because I recently took my meds and they're supposed to make me tired. But I want to thank all of y'all for the support, the prayers. Y'all have been so supportive and amazing, and I want to say thank you. As I heal from this surgery, I don't know how often I'll be posting. I'm not sure how long it's supposed to take to heal from this surgery, probably at least a few weeks. But I'll keep y'all as updated as I can, and thank you so much for watching. Bye, everyone.